Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon by talking about something that's Disney related, of course. So this time around, I'm actually going to do something, again, Star Wars related, of course. I figured I'd do that since I just recently watched this on Disney Plus. As the documentary titled Empire of Dreams, the story of the Star Wars Trilogy. Of course, this is referring to the original Star Wars Trilogy. So yeah, pretty much this documentary is gonna feature the behind the scenes on the original Star Wars Trilogy. You know, these series of films that the fans, well, at least the vast majority of them, seem to think that it's the second coming of Jesus. So yeah, it's gonna narrate the experiences where George Lucas was really attempting to do and whatnot, and just take care of his project since like literally nobody had any faith in him like at all. And it was pretty much an uphill battle considering the fact that he wants to base his a lot of his stories on some old programs in which he used to watch when he was younger. And just basically did his own version of that. Just like those old sci-fi movies from long ago, but just do his own thing, spin on it with some Japanese uh, folklore attached to it, I guess you could say. But just trying to give his own twist to something old and create his own thing, I guess you would say. Pretty much what was done before, but just putting his own spin on it so it can come out more refreshing, I guess you can say. And the whole idea of how he became this well-known director, and a lot of it is in thanks of Star Wars and whatnot that brought him this fame, of course. Even though at the time he was basically a newbie when it comes to the film industry, and it took about a total of 9 years to complete the original trilogy. Yeah, it's almost a decade. Oh boy. And at the time, they were discussing the special effects department. Of course, that's something that Star Wars is known for, special effects. How they advance the technology in which a lot of films nowadays are using. So what I'm saying is that, so yeah, and a lot of thanks to Star Wars: A New Hope. Yeah, films like the Lord of the Rings movies, the Hobbit movies, or even the Matrix movies, or even the Jurassic Park films. Let me see what else. The DC and Marvel films wouldn't even exist because Star Wars: A New Hope advanced the special effects. Oh, because George Lucas was inspired by these old ass sci-fi movies that came out like long ago. They just have a budget. The Star Wars movie just has a budget to them. You want to just say that if you want to get to the nitty gritty of it, I guess. Just have a much more bigger budget, I guess. So yeah, in a lot of ways, it really brought the special effects in a lot of ways. So yeah, really brought like a revolution. Yeah, I guess that's the better word. It was like a revolution in special effects. But not only that, he wanted to tell a story because he felt that a story is very important. You can have the greatest special effects in the entire world, but it's none of it is going to mean anything if these special effects, yeah, if the special effects are the only good thing about it, it's not going to mean anything if the story's bad. This is the same person that made this lock. Ugh. What happened? Those are nothing but special effects. Anyway, yeah, but okay, moreover, he's just trying to talk about the whole behind the scenes, of course, the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. How struggle it is to actually prove everyone wrong, but okay. You made a great first impression. But when it comes to question, is making a lasting impression just as important or even more difficult? So this is the kind of thing that I'll be talking about when they were doing the Empire Strikes Back. Making a lasting impression. So that's the next best step, I guess you can say. So it was difficult. Oh yeah, it was difficult. You have to make it seem like a sequel is warrant, and not just there just for like just to be a cash cow, and just be there just for its own sake and be a sequel for its own sake, be a rehash. What's the documentary does bring up? The vast majority of sequels are just there to be there, just because the first film uh, is just because the first film was made a lot of money. I mean, okay, you're not wrong. That's supposed the case for yeah, that's the case for most sequels when you think about it. Unfortunately, they're just there just to be there. Oh, trust me, folks. I can do an entire video on some of the worst sequels I've ever seen, and I still want to cover every single one of them. If you've been around as long as I have, you've seen a lot, a lot of trash sequels. And yes, the vast majority of them aren't very good, like at all. So yeah, like I was saying, yeah, the documentary does have a point there. So yeah. So yeah, folks, I thought this was pretty interesting in its own little way, trying to discuss that how the original trilogy was done. It's a little over 2 hours, so yes, it's quite lengthy, I guess you can say. I mean, a shortened version of the documentary did premiere at the A&E network later that fall of that same year when it was released in 2004. The TV version ran around 90 minutes, yeah, cutting off a nearly an hour of content. So, yeah. The lengthier version of this documentary is, of course, right now available for streaming on Disney Plus. So, yeah. But it's still considered to be containing the best edited bits for content disclaimer, I guess you can say. So just thought I'd throw that out there. So I'm reviewing the Disney Plus version. Of course, you can say. I guess you can say this documentary is strictly trying to so from beginning to end from the first movie to the later third film. So yeah. We see, George Lucas and the beginning of his career as a filmmaker. Yeah, then it leads to complication, production, of the first Star Wars film, of course. It was originally called Star Wars, then retitled Star Wars A New Hope because he figured it would do the sequels, of course you can say. But it does feature the interviews with George Lucas and a lot of the other cast members as well. So yeah, trying to put like a political perspective on this, which is fine. I know a lot of people say that Star Wars was never political, which it was. It was released during a period of time where, a lot of people were making a lot of dark and gloomy films, and somebody wanted, I guess some people wanted something a bit more uplifting. It was heavily inspired by the feminist movement, aka Princess Leia. So there were politics in here. Good versus, yeah, I mean, okay, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, you can say it's, good versus evil, sure. If you want to be overly simplistic, sure. It is, at its core, yes, it's good versus evil, sure. And but of course, in other words, they're trying to take complicated material and put it in more easier digestive way, I guess, so you can have an easier time comprehending it. I guess you can say, as it goes into more complex uh, themes, issues, social norms, and whatnot. But having a way that it can become more easy to understand, which is fine. I don't mind that really. So yeah, it can be really heavy in dialogue in a lot of ways because of this, but still have a lot of action and whatnot. So it's a good one, folks. It's definitely a good one. So yeah, what I'm saying is very informative. I did like what they were trying to do here. I put a give it some sort of retrospect on this kind of thing. George Lucas in here, the guy who played Chewbacca, and there's a journalist that's in here. Even Spielberg makes an appearance in this, and quite a few others as well. And the actor who played, Luke Skywalker, the actress who played, Princess Leia and whatnot. So yeah, we've got a bunch of other people with this interviews and whatnot. So that's definitely a good thing. Lots of great stuff going on in this, folks. So yeah, this was definitely well constructed as a whole. I liked what they were trying to do, and they succeeded in a lot of ways. So, I mean, I know I'm not getting to every aspect of this documentary because I don't want to say, give away too much here, of course. But I can really say is that it's worth a watch. Like I said, it's available. on Disney Plus. So if you haven't seen it as of yet, I recommend it. If you have Disney Plus, that is. But yeah, overall, this was a well constructed thing. You're talking about the miniatures and that they had that I go through and just kind of like the old fashioned filmmaking, which in a lot of ways I do miss. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I do miss the old fashioned filmmaking. I mean, that was definitely a good thing there that they were sticking with that. I don't usually review documentaries, I guess, because documentary is not really my cup of tea. Really, it's not really my favorite genre. But it has its charm. It has its charm, I guess you can say. I don't mind documentaries. I don't hate them, mind you. I don't hate documentaries. They're just not my cup of tea, is what I'm saying. So don't get mad at me here, folks. All in all, this was definitely a well constructed documentary, and it's really good. Give you some sort of insight of what he went through and whatnot. And yeah, he definitely helped the film industry in a lot of ways. Just because he had a dream. So yeah, this tells you, folks, it's never too late to dream. If you have an idea for a movie, you better go for it, I guess. Why not? You don't live once, so might as well, go to it. And there's one bit where it talked about when he was doing the original Star Wars film that he had to go to a hospital. So yeah, a lot of stress, a lot of stress. I mean, it's easier nowadays, but still. But yeah, folks, this was a good one. I thought it was really well made, and whatnot. I definitely give this a high recommendation for me. Even if you're just a sci-fi fan, that's fine. If you just you're not specifically just Star Wars, just a sci-fi fan, I still recommend this nonetheless. It's a good one. Yes, sir. Anyway, I'll give this documentary an overall rating of a 7.5 out of 10. It's a 7.5 out of 10 for me. And as always, thanks for watching and take care. Till next time, see you.